And we're back with more Talking Law TV. I'm your host, Michael Short, and we're here with Christie Register talking about how bankruptcy can help. Hi, Christie.
Hey, Michael.
And this repressed and depressed for some people, I guess recessions when it happens to your neighbor and depressions when it happens to you.
No kidding.
Economy, a lot of people are considering filing bankruptcy. What happens if you file bankruptcy? I mean, how do you get started with your petition? How can it really help you?
First step, go see a lawyer, get all your bills together, tax returns. You know, the first question I ask people is, what's your main concern? What is really bothering you? For some people, it's a vehicle that's about to get repossessed. Some people have a lot of medical bills, or some people may have had credit card debt and now they're getting sued. So bankruptcy, often with actions like that, can stop it, at least delay it.
So if you file and you have this automatic stay, a stop, or a delay, what does that? It just makes them stop bothering you?
It can, and the reason why I said stop or delay, some things bankruptcy doesn't help, like child support. If you're behind, then the bankruptcy will temporarily stop it, but then the child support agency or the custodial parent can petition the court to lift the stay, and that will be done. So things like that, yeah, bankruptcy can help, but not long term. Credit cards, medical bills, if you're behind in your vehicle payments and you file bankruptcy, if you file Chapter 13, then those back payments will go into the plan, and the entire vehicle will get paid off within the 5 years, and as long as you're making your payments to the trustee, then your vehicle is protected. Can
you file and change your mind while it's in the process?
Yes, and every now and then I'll have a client who files, and then 2 weeks later they say, well, I want to dismiss it, and I'm like, man, why would you want to do that? Because now you have a bankruptcy filing on your credit report and, you know, on the public record. So it is something that you really want to give a lot of thought to. You know, we meet with people several times before we file it. We try to make sure that they are well informed, because it is a big step.
So it hurts you even if you don't follow through with it?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is, can you be sued while you're in bankruptcy?
Creditors with debts, the debts that you had on the day of your petition, which we call pre-petition debts, are included in the bankruptcy, and the only way creditors can pursue you would be to get relief from stay from the court. However, say you file bankruptcy on January 1st and you have to have surgery on February 1st, those bills from February 1st are not included in your bankruptcy. So you could be sued for those bills. Those are post-petition debts.
Okay. Does it stop all the harassing phone calls from creditors?
Yes.
And what do you simply, when they call, what do you say?
Well, I encourage my clients, even if they've come to see us but we haven't filed their case yet, is to let them know that they're represented by a lawyer and give them our phone number, and they can call us. Otherwise, once we file the bankruptcy petition, the creditors get notice, and they, you know, sometimes it takes a week or two for it to get them into the system, but then they stop all contact with my client. If they don't, then we can file a proceeding against them in bankruptcy court, and they can show up and explain to the judge why they're breaking the law.
Are there exceptions to that?
No. Creditors, if they have been given notice and they are listed in that petition, then that ceases all collection efforts from them. Now, if, and some creditors are super cautious about it, so if you've got a mortgage, and you state in your bankruptcy petition that you're going to keep that house, you're going to keep making the payments outside the bankruptcy plan, but you've had your payments on automatic draft, a lot of times the creditor will stop that. So I tell people, you know, pay attention. Sometimes they won't send you a statement because they don't want to violate that automatic stay rule. So sometimes creditors are super cautious and don't even do what you wish they would do.
Are you keeping your checking accounts and credit cards?
Checking accounts, yes, you can keep. Debit cards you can keep and use, but not credit cards.
Those without a balance, you keep those?
Those without a balance, we would not have to list as a creditor, but while you are in Chapter 13, you're not allowed to incur new debt without permission from the court, so you wouldn't be able to use them.
Okay. What about if you have a company credit card in your name?
If you're an authorized user on a card, then yes, you could use that.
Okay.
Because the debt would not be in your name, and technically you would not be incurring new debt.
Are there other benefits for filing?
Lots of benefits for filing. If you have a vehicle and you owe money on it and you've got a really high interest rate, often, we can bring it down to 5% in the bankruptcy plan. Depending on how long it's been since you purchased the vehicle, if you're upside down on it, sometimes you don't have to pay that full balance, you just pay the value. If you owe back taxes, right when you file your case, those fees and penalties stop. The fees and penalties that you've incurred to date are still in existence, but they stop at the time of the filing, which is a really big benefit.
Is that federal and state, or just federal?
Both.
Okay. If you have a vehicle with a loan that has a really high interest rate, can you just walk away from it at this point in Chapter 7? You can walk
away from it in either Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. If you've got a vehicle that you either do not want or you think it's best just to go ahead and give it up, then you can do that. They may have a deficiency claim, but that's unsecured. So that wouldn't be paid in most cases. Unless there's non-exempt equity, your unsecured debt may not be paid, or it may be 10 cents on the dollar.
Okay. Do you actually have to go to court if you're filing bankruptcy?
You have to make at least one appearance before the trustee to show your ID and Social Security card. Often, though, unless there's a problem with the case, the clients will never have to see a judge.
So it's all done in your office? Pretty
much. We have to go to that one meeting to meet the trustee. Of course, if there are problems in the case, then we do have to have a hearing before the judge. But if it's smooth sailing, my client's doing everything they're supposed to do, giving me all the documents, show up at that meeting with the trustee, make the payments on time, then often they don't ever have to go to court.
What percentage of bankruptcies are 7 versus 13?
Gosh, I don't know. I do believe that 7s have been on the rise, whereas when I, 5 years ago, we were filing a lot more Chapter 13s and 7s, and it's kind of beginning to even out.
Has the Reform Act caused it to swing one way or the other?
Well, after that new law passed in 2005, there was a lot of filings right before it went into effect, and then they really dropped off. Now it's picked up, but the economy, I think, is causing more Chapter 7s because people are surrendering homes that they bought, overpaid, second mortgages. They're surrendering those.
So what happens at the end of a bankruptcy case?
At the end, if all goes well, you get your discharge, and those debts that are listed are discharged and forever gone.
So do you get a letter or something?
You do. You get a discharge order. You get the copy of the discharge that's signed by the judge, and then your case is closed about a month afterwards, and then you can start rebuilding credit.
So what is your credit going to be now at this point? A couple of hundred?
Most people that file bankruptcy, their credit is already bad. So yeah, it takes a hit, but it's usually kind of rock bottom by the time people come to see us. Every now and then I'll see somebody who comes in and say, I'm completely current, but I know it's not going to last.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you so much, Christy.
Thank you.
We'll be back with Doug Andrews answering viewer mail right after this. Stay tuned.